Good to go.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Donna Bailey. I chair the Harris Cherokee Center for Asheville and Buncombe County. I would like to welcome everybody and Happy New Year. We are remote once again and probably will be for a while. So kind of just get used to it. Aren't we all? I'd just like to welcome everybody and let you know who's here today. We have Shay Brown, Marshall Hilliard, Vaughn Cook Riley, Daniel Krupe, Chris Coral, and I always do that. I am so sorry. Antoinette, I'm going to get it correct. Myself, and there's three others. Can you tell me who they are? I can't see them.
John Ellis is here, and then the others are the City of Asheville YouTube channel and the phone call-in. Okay,
great. Welcome, everybody. You all received the minutes of the last meeting. I'm hoping everybody had a chance to read them and review. I need a motion to approve these minutes. Anyone?
I make a motion to approve them.
Okay, and I need a second. That would be Yvonne. And is there any discussion on these minutes at all that's necessary? No? Then we can vote to approve these minutes. Raise your hand if you're yay. Nay? The minutes are approved. Do a better job this time, Chris, did I? Now we'll go to our committee reports. Well, we'll have Antoinette. You're going to go first, and I said it correctly. Thank you.
You definitely did. And hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Just a very brief report, actually good news. In Council's December meeting, we voted to accept Phase 2 funding for the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. The amount is, let me look to make sure I get it exactly right, $813,638. You'll recall that the Phase 1 grant amount was for $1,627. $627,366.57 was the first grant that came in, I believe, August of 2021. So the total grant amount to date will be $2,440,974.57.
Wonderful.
Happy to do that. Great news. And the other thing I'd like to bring to your attention is related to mask mandates. My understanding is that this afternoon, the Board of Commissions for Buncombe County will discuss whether or consider whether or not to continue the mandate. I believe it was only through January 5th. So we'll find out later today what their decision is. That's it for me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Sports Commission update. Demp, I noticed you just popped in.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are starting the new year off with, we will have cornhole this weekend. I haven't seen the American Cornhole League. It is more of a group or a more open event than the one we had before. It's more open to the public. It's supposed to be 250 to 500 individuals who will participate. I have not seen their registration numbers as of since last week. So that will actually be taking place in lieu of the gala gymnastics. So most of you are familiar with gala gymnastics, which is traditionally this week. And they had made a call back during the summer not to have the event because the event is run literally by all of their family. And the husband of the event promoter is a physician and did not feel comfortable with continuing with 1,500 gymnasts participating. So we were able to secure American Cornhole League. We're in the process of continuing to really ramp up for Southern Conference. A lot of planning calls and planning meetings right now. Same thing with the Billie Jean King Cup. I would say that if you have not purchased your tickets for Billie Jean King Cup, I would hope that you would go ahead and do that. If you're interested in the Friends of Ty package, let me or Madison know in our office so that we can get you signed up for that. But we really, I think we're going to really hit a push in February, and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going to really, we've never had this much time between an announcement and the date. We usually announce late November, and then we're ready to play in February. So honestly, right now, the team would be introduced next week. And if it were the traditional, Chris is like, what? If it were the traditional, we would be announcing the team, but the team will be announced, Chris, what is it, like 24 days out from the actual competition date. Yep. So we're working on all of the auxiliary events. There's one of our challenges, or maybe even opportunities, exist in that it is spring break weekend. So we will not be working. We're going to do some things early with schools through North Carolina Tennis Association. They're going to do some training, outreach programs, and then we'll continue to have community outreach programs and looking at how they look. That's kind of our main focus right now is just getting those two events kind of laid out, continuing to evaluate, look at COVID protocols, how do things look, with Fed Cup, the international play could come in, or international events could come into play, especially hosting the Ukrainian team. So you never know. We thought that we were kind of over this hump probably about November, and then we get this new variant. So we'll see how that plays. We continue, and the grapple wrestling tournament turned out to be a very big success. We had 31 teams finally. We had a record 77, I think, girls wrestlers, which is continues. There's a huge movement in the state of North Carolina to have the North Carolina High School Athletic Association sanction girls wrestling as a sport, a certified sport. They have to have a certain number of participation before they can do that. But we had a very successful girls tournament, very successful varsity and JV. I think our numbers were very consistent. We're already working on getting the date finalized for next year, and looking at recruiting teams, some additional teams. I think our Georgia teams, who were all under a no travel, or it wasn't a no travel, it was a no, they were not allowed to spend the night. So I think we'll see those teams come back. I think, we added some really good new teams. So we added Maryville, Tennessee, and they came in and they brought a full varsity, a full JV, and almost full girls team. They had over 40 rooms at the Cambria. So that was a good experience to have them added into the mix. And Science Hill was here again from Tennessee. So it was just a great event. A lot of people are nervous about where wrestling goes in the future. So this event gave them the opportunity to have a big time event. And we've sent out some surveys to the teams to try to get some, comments on things. But even some of the things that we felt like that we could definitely improve on got a lot of positive response. So it's hard to get over 600 wrestlers into registration, and Donna can attest to this. Get them in and corralled on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock and get them registered, weighed, and ready to go. So I think that's our biggest hurdle, is how do we get them in? Once we get them in, everything else ran pretty smoothly. So and we continue to look at other opportunities moving forward, and just excited about what the future brings. So
I was there helping with weighing in this year, along with my profound whistle when needed. It was amazing to me how well organized it was. They came in. Fred and all the volunteers just did a great job of just getting the kids through and in order. There were very few teams that were out of order, weight order. I found it, really fascinating to see that process, and getting there at 6:30. And I'm saying, what?
On a Saturday morning.
On a Saturday morning. But it was a very great job by all of you. It was a great job. And glad to see so many girls wrestling. That was interesting.
Well, it's now what the NCAA has termed emerging sport. So the University of Iowa, which you would expect they would be the first, actually is the first team to have actually women's coaching staff this year. So I think we'll see that continue to increase. We have it's really big in Eastern Tennessee, and then we've got several teams that have. I think East Henderson is probably our best full team. So anyway, it was a great experience, and we just look forward to continuing that event and helping it grow. And that gives us a mix of homegrown events and events like SoCon and Fed Cup and American Cornhole that we can bring in. So pretty excited.
Great.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the CVB with Marshall Hilliard's report. Hey, Marshall.
Afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year to all. You will recall I started the last couple of months with a good report on lead volume, and unfortunately, we took a little bit of a dip in December with new lead opportunities, 45 new leads, 13,000 room nights, compared to 2019 December, 69 leads with 19,000 room nights. So that's a reduction that we don't want to see continue, and we'll be keeping an eye on. As for our activities, December travel and trade shows, we attended the Association Executives of North Carolina in Raleigh, along with several hotel partners exhibited there. We also attended the Society of Incentive Travel Education Summit in Savannah, and a shout out to Connie Holiday on the team. She was awarded the Experience of the Year based on a site meeting that was hosted in Asheville, December of 2020. So that was a great award for our city and our team to receive. Tina went to Chicago Society of Association Executives in Chicago, the Holiday Showcase. And then Beth, our weddings sales manager, went to Engage Summit. This is a new event for us. It's a high-end destination wedding show targeting luxury wedding planners. So a good month of travel was under our belt, trying to keep the pipeline going. Also in December, our marketing team produced a very nice guide to Asheville in the Monocle magazine. Monocle is a high-end publication. The piece is called Asheville on the Rise, and there's an online version that I can share with everyone after the call. It's quite nice, and I think you'll enjoy reading through it. So that's the Explore Asheville report for the month. Unless Vic has anything to add, look forward to a great 2022 and continuing to be part of this group.
Thank you. Vic, you have anything?
Getting back into the swing of Zoom and Teams meetings. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. And Marshall did a great job on the report.
Great. Glad to see you.
Likewise.
And a great 22 to you as well, both of you. Asheville Symphony update. Daniel, who's before he got on was very excited about how well his program went on New Year's Eve.
Hey everyone, Daniel Krupe with the Asheville Symphony. So our big event happened just a couple of days ago, coinciding with Chris's concert, Pigeons Playing Ping Pong. We had a New Year's Eve Motown and R&B and Soul extravaganza, which was a fabulous performance with a very enthusiastic audience. Smaller audience than perhaps I had wanted to see or any of us had wanted to see, but Omicron definitely is working against us. We're usually able to sell out those New Year's Eve shows or come pretty close to sellouts on New Year's, and ticket sales were pretty suppressed due to COVID this year. And attendance itself was actually significantly down from the ticket holders in terms of the number of tickets that we actually had out versus who actually showed up for the concert was probably down by about 30% or so. And I know that a lot of our peers are seeing that happen as well, where 30% of the audience just does not show up even though they've purchased tickets. So it's an interesting trend and sort of a troublesome trend, but the individuals who were there for the concert I know had a great time. We are still pretty intent on keeping strict COVID regulations in place to ensure the greatest degree of safety possible for our artists and also for the audience. So we're still requiring vaccination or testing, and we'll see what happens with the mask mandate. I'm quite confident that even if it is not extended, we will be continuing that practice as well. I will say, as a quick aside, our music education activities are ramping back up post-COVID, and we're starting to see some success there. We had our first Asheville Symphony Youth Orchestra concert just last month. Was super successful up at Mars Hill University, and we're looking to continue that momentum and keep building that ensemble back in the wake of COVID in the next couple of months. And our board of directors has founded a new education committee to take a hard look at the programs we already present and hopefully expand upon those and grow that presence to serve the community and real needs in the community for students. So I'd be keenly interested in hearing from any one of you if you have insight into that as to what especially the public schools in Asheville really need and could use. I'm keenly interested in hearing your perspective because we want to tailor our programs to obviously be as impactful as they can be, not produce content that is not helpful or is needless for kids. So would love to hear your thoughts. I mentioned last month we're getting ready to announce a new series, and we just made sort of a pre-sale announcement about that today, a mobile chamber orchestra series rotating around to different venues throughout Asheville, including the Art Museum, the Orange Peel, and Highland Brewing. So we just made that announcement today, and then the big announcement goes out later this week. And otherwise, we're preparing for our February return to Thomas Wolfe Auditorium and planning for next season. So exciting stuff at the Symphony. Any questions?
I'm curious, have you considered, assuming in July, for instance, that that we don't have, that COVID is not, and it'll never be behind us, but you were in a position of redoing the gala?
Oh, returning to sort of a gala format.
What? Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
It would be. My understanding is that the Symphony has presented a gala every other year in coordination with the Amadeus Festival. And since this is not an Amadeus year, next year is. My plan is to return to that format, and we'll have some sort of gala probably in May of 2023. So that's presently the plan.
Great. Well, I'm glad it was as successful as it could be, but I'm so glad that you thought the performers and the people who did attend had a wonderful time. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from our general manager, Chris Coral. It's all yours.
Hey, everyone. Good day to you. Happy New Year. I'll do some upcoming events first, just to kind of follow on what Daniel mentioned. We experienced at the Pigeon shows very similar. Ticket sales were down 1,500 tickets from the last time the Pigeons played a New Year's show here in 2019 to 2020 New Year's Eve, and our attendee rate was pretty low. We had a 55% arrival rate for this show, which is really low. We're seeing typically 80%, so like 20% no-show rate has been averaged since reopening, but this was a 45% no-show rate. So it was significantly down for that New Year's date. But again, the people that were here had a grand old time. So, it was still a great show for those that did come. Upcoming events, we're pretty slow in January. We're doing a lot of projects around the building, but we do have the Cornhole event this weekend. On Tuesday and Wednesday next week, we have a 2-night run with Jason Isbell, which is a vaccination-only event. So no proof of negative tests will get you in, and you must be vaccinated for entry for that show. And then we get into February, where we have a few different events highlighted by the Symphony's return. Joss Stone and Corinne Bailey Ray will be here on Saturday the 5th, which should be a really great show. And I'm looking forward to that because that's a crowd that typically doesn't come to events here. It's a different type of market. So I'm hoping that we can start expanding on that. Monday the 7th, we have Neil deGrasse Tyson back for An Astrophysicist Goes to the Movies, the sequel, where he's going to review some movie scenes and how they work in real life science, which should be really exciting. And we'll wrap up February getting ready for the SoCon, a 2-night run in the arena with Humphreys McGee, and a 3 or 4 day rehearsal with and opening the tour with Nick Cave, which that one's going to be a really special night. If you look at Nick Cave's tour, Asheville just doesn't belong. I mean, he's playing Toronto, New York, San Francisco, and Asheville. Like, we're the only small market city on that tour, which is going to be really exciting. Other upcoming events, some highlights of the spring. We have a 2-night run with Tame Impala in March. Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers are coming back, and Billie Jean King Cup on Easter weekend in April that Dent mentioned. And right now, Laura Weston is out in Reno doing preview for Davis Cup, and she'll be working the Davis Cup event out there in Reno the same weekend that we have SoCon here in Asheville. So getting prepped for some of our other stuff that's outside of Asheville too. Any questions on upcoming events before I go to the next thing? No? All right. So you'll see in our agenda today a link to the Civic Center Commission annual report. And I'm looking away from you so I can look at it over here on my other screen. But every year we submit an annual report from the Civic Center Commission that goes to Asheville City Council. Ours is due by at the end of the month. And so typically in January, we kind of review, go through it, and finalize any small points before we submit it to the city clerk's office for submission to council. Last year, we went through it as a group in this meeting, which was actually kind of nice to be able to just adjust as we were in the meeting since it was virtual and send over to council. I was hoping to do that again today. I can read through it out loud and as you guys take a look on the computer, but typically we summarize a little bit of the year. Well, we remind them of our mission statement, which hasn't changed, put some highlight accomplishments in there, then submit 1 or 2 recommendations and note some upcoming goals and send it on to council. So I guess before I get into that, any questions on the general process and what the annual report is typically? Nope. All right, easy peasy. So I'll read it out loud, but feel free to read along. So in our summary statement, Calendar year 2021 was for the Harris Cherokee Center Asheville a very challenging year, reopening as a mass gathering site during pandemic. Events slowly began to return in March with the Southern Conference Basketball Championships, originally planned as a no fans event, and increased to a 500-person capacity 3 days prior after lifted restrictions by the governor's office and Buncombe County. Reduced restrictions in the spring opened the door for late summer and fall bookings to begin. Although the pandemic continued to cause cancellations in 2021, 93 in total, the facility managed to host a total of 230 usage dates, down slightly from pre-pandemic figures of 285 usage dates in 2019, the last full calendar year unaffected by COVID-19. Many of the usage dates were free testing or vaccination site events related to the county's response to the pandemic. Do we want to go through the whole thing and then come back, or do we want to look through summary and then go through one step at a time?
Why don't you go to the summary, and that way, if anybody has any questions, you can go back.
Okay.
What do you think?
So keep going.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to skip the mission statement because that hasn't changed in the last few years. Accomplishments, so we just threw a few bullet point accomplishments here. So first and foremost, in January last year, we transitioned the COVID ready team staffing and supervision back to Buncombe County that we had operated from April of 2020 through January of 2021. So we transitioned that whole staffing and the supervision of the ready team response back to Buncombe County. Then we acted as a testing and vaccination site throughout the year for local residents related to COVID-19. We're still doing that today, actually. Assisted with and provided security for multiple emergency homeless shelters at hotels throughout the city. We applied for and were awarded 2 rounds of shuttered venue operator grants from the Small Business Administration, totaling $2.4 million. We reopened to events safely and required proof of vaccination or recent negative tests for entry to events. And we hosted 2 separate 3-night sold-out runs in the ExploreAsheville.com arena, Widespread Panic and Billy Strings. Interestingly enough, the last performer to sell out 3 consecutive nights in our facility was Elvis Presley. And then we were awarded host site of the 2022 Billie Jean King Cup Tennis, formerly known as Fed Cup, becoming only the 2nd city in the United States to host 3 or more Billie Jean King Cup ties. The event dates are April 15 and 16, 2022. So then to move down to recommendations, I'm kind of holding this one over from last year, so I'm open to adjusting there, but need assistance from city management and councils, what that should say. Council. Need assistance from city management and council to create a comprehensive plan towards the future and renovation of the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. Potential budgetary impact of goals and or recommendations. We've had varying levels of concept designs created for the Thomas Wolfe over the years, ranging from $40 to $100 million. So I put that in as the potential budgetary impact of those ranges. And then upcoming goals, to reestablish our pre-pandemic financial status, which is coming along, but as we keep getting no-shows for concerts, we're not at the same levels that we were in the past yet. And then integrating the new additional facilities and staff being welcomed into the department fully and effectively in 2022, being the WNC Nature Center, Aston Park Tennis Center, outdoor special events, McCormick Field, John B. Lewis Soccer Complex, and the Asheville Municipal Golf Course. So I'd say if we want to start with the summary after hearing that, anything from the group as far as accomplishments that you feel like we missed or should adjust, adjustment to the summary, goals, recommendations, etc.
Anyone? No? Okay, Chris.
Okay. Well, if everyone's good with it as is, we would need a motion and a vote to approve sending this version to the clerk's office for council.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. And we'll take a vote. Any discussion? Any further discussion? No? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand in your little box. Aye. Any nays? Okay, vote is passed to send.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any old business, Chris, that we should be discussing?
We didn't. I went back and looked at the last couple agendas, and there was no old business to roll over.
Okay. Then we will, our next meeting will be the first Tuesday of February. And we will see you all at that point in time. Thank you for attending. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Bye now.
Motion to adjourn.
Bye-bye.
Oh, motion to adjourn. I'm so sorry. Thank you.